got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie. He's BTC Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie. He's BTC Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie. He's BTC Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading support starts to lean, search Charlie.
Right, bonjour, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are all from. How is everybody doing? We've got a lot of people here tonight, which is nice. Nice to see you all, to see you nice. I think people have been enjoying the old theme tune or the intro song. We will find some music to chill out to in a minute because I've not prepared it. But yeah, hope everyone's doing good. Last night I dreamed about your spaghetti chart. Brilliant. I mean, that is what dreams are made of. That is what dreams are made of, right? So first off, shout out to our sponsor, Destro Network, for sponsoring the stream. Actually, one of the biggest bounces I've seen off the Here's My Lovely Meme chart the other day. So I've held a bag through this chop, and it's literally dropped 73% and then bounced. Oh, sorry, dropped 49% and then bounced 73%. I tweeted about it yesterday. It's one of the fastest off the lows. I didn't rebuy it, unfortunately, because I was just balls deep in it. But it has literally come back to this kind of high time frame pivot, and this is an interesting place for it. I'm still pretty confident that we see a reasonable run on AI based projects and all of that to come, but obviously the safe place to buy it was either, and this is a real hindsight LARP, down at the massive sell-off, which we'll talk about obviously, but the safe place to buy it is above this pivot of kind of 0.28, and hopefully we get another run like this. So here is where if I was not positioned and not holding a bag that is it's been quite volatile, it would be something above 0.28 and 0.30. So, I hope my VNT can sponsor you one day. What's VNT, my friend? Amigos. I wonder, actually, where's everyone tuning in from? That's always like, I'm sure YouTube tells you, but I've never really looked. Let's do some copyright-free piano. Let's go for some chilled stuff, shall we? Too loud, too quiet? Give me the feedback, peeps. Let's have a little bit of stuff. A little bit of chilled vibes. I'm in Goblin Town. Fuck, I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing at your joke, obviously. That's a banger. London, Texas, UK, Miami, Florida, wow. Italy, Sussex, Germany. In my car outside your front garden. I sincerely doubt that. Well, I hope not. If the stream is cut short, it's Tiblu, everybody. He's done it. Well, she's done it. Chicago, Burgenland, Australia, Portugal. Proper ass and dodgy council estate. Portugal, Portland, Oregon. Wow, man. I'm like a worldwide. I'm worldwide now. Man's international now, fam. Ireland, Zeroville, Burgerville. Still working out how you trade on Bybit in the UK? Well, I may be a dual resident, my friend, and obviously I'm not going to encourage any kind of behaviour like that. So, Southwest, I do know. Florida, wow. That's a really diverse audience. Mr. Worldwide. Yeah, I mean we're not exactly streaming to millions of people, which is which is great, but it just blows my mind that I'm speaking to people literally halfway across the world. Still, because I'm a boomer, obviously. Old season. Yeah, let's get it. Let's talk about stuff, shall we? Let's talk about the market. I'll give you kind of my 2 cents of where we're at, how I've traded, what I've traded, why I've traded it, and what I'm looking for next. So for me, yesterday in the Paragon group, I literally woke up and I've wonderfully deleted my long, but I'll talk you through the process because it's a really, really good illustration of how I like to trade parabolas, and this is both sides of parabolas. You've probably heard me talking about long side parabolas looking to short, as in the market is doing this, and then we get this, and then we look at the momentum dropping off, and then we short somewhere under here to kind of play that reversal, even if it's just a bit of a mean reversion to an EMA or something like that, right? You've probably heard me say that a few times. But the more fun side of it is when you get something like this, which is the sell-off. So you get this redonkulous sell-off, which is, if I flip it the other way, then you will, if I can find the button, there you go, you'll see exactly what I mean. I talk about this kind of fade parabolas all the time, as a good place to take on some risk. Now, it's not perfect. Parabolas aren't exactly meant to draw up or meant to line up to the exact tick of a chart, right? It's more about the structure and how it pans out. You can use your eyes. Technical analysis is, in my opinion, a guide as to where you're, or it's a guide to characterizing market behavior and turning price action into a bit of a story, I suppose. So, we have this huge capitulation down here, and if you start putting just something simple like volume on here, let's have a peep. Bosh. When you look at the kind of volume spike on, let's just go back. Maybe Binance isn't the best place to look at it. But you look at this, and what I like to, I'm not drawing a resistance line on volume, even though I kind of am. It's just highlighting that it's at an extreme, and to be honest, I've got an R-bar indicator that would show that, but I haven't actually added it on here. Must be on here somewhere. No, maybe not. But either way, it's a massive extreme of volume, right? And typically, if you're looking at this, that's my standard kind of, do I want to fade this because it's like wicked up here? Yeah, I'd probably take a short up here somewhere because you've got that lower high, right? Bosh, bosh. And then obviously we reinvert the chart and go, well, that's actually a long signal. And, I'm looking to fade this, like to fade the dump and long, take the opposite trade, because from a high time frame perspective, it was one of the last opportunities to kind of do so. If I look at this, if I look at that just in terms of simple range levels, which we've had marked out for absolutely ages, again, I've probably deleted my, my do nothing, like in this bit, look for longs, go play video games, and long to all-time highs kind of tweet that I did a while ago. But I'm just talking through this kind of trade setup. Then after that, you kind of expect some form of stalling, and all I was doing in this little region here was trying to find a reason to get long with invalidation. And let me just go into the low time frame. So I got up about here, and I started clipping in here. So my theory and my thought process was as simple as, we've got a little bit of an impulse. I will look at, sorry, I was actually long here. I thought we've got a little bit of an impulse into this kind of reclaim. We've got a little mini range forming here in terms of this price action, these highs. And I actually got up here about 6 o'clock, and I bought on this dip. I started scaling, and I got in at 93 on average. But by the time I recorded my video, after trying to do it twice, I put the entry as here, but I was long from down here somewhere. The simple thesis being that was the capitulation. This is a higher low. You've kind of established a bit of a range with these highs. If this holds, then great. You've got your first kind of stops under here, your second load of stops under here. And then the target was up here somewhere at like 102. I actually closed it for a little bit less than that because I don't think we hit it. We did hit it. But I closed it. I think maybe my target was a tiny bit higher. I was up here, wasn't it? It was a wick up here. So that's kind of my trade yesterday. I closed it in this here before everything sold off and died off. But I just wanted to kind of talk through that because for me that was like the trade. Do you know what I mean? Like I've been waiting for range low retests for a while. I've talked about potentially longing at all-time high breaks and stuff. But for me, generally, like these ranges are beautiful and they're clean. And just to kind of do the before and after. Where is it? I don't think I did the before as a message. I did it in my Outlook yesterday. but this is what I kind of put in the group. So you got your inverse parabola, you got your volume spike, you've got the support resistance on low time frame, and that was it. And that's where I closed it. So I closed it at about 101. So it was just a nice trade on decent size, liquidity, etc. And the only other thing I did yesterday was I bought some OM. So again, OM, one of the strongest coins that we've actually had in the market for a long time. Literally up only. Real fucking flyer. Yeah, absolutely great. Like, that was my thought process here. Does anyone wanna try and guess the thought process here? Because we'll make this a little bit more educational. Hi Nico. Sorry to drop names. What are you seeing with sand? Probably nothing, mate. But we'll check it in a bit. Over the year, I think it's got good potential. I mean, I don't know. I think there might be a return of on-chain, or sorry, gaming meta, and we might see a little bit of that kind of happening. But I'll check the sand chart. I'm imagining it looks like it's a dog shit. I'm guessing the volume's a bit high as well on the what's it called? The piano. So I've turned it down a little bit. Hopefully that's alright. Reclaim with the strongest coin, reclaim, wick plus reclaim. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, you know, what I'm seeing here is you've got this range, like previous range here. I've had a strong sell-off. It's very strong off here. And, you know, it was one of the strongest coins, and it is, you know, part of the whole RWA narrative. So I think it does have the potential to run pretty hard. You know, the invalidation is actually probably a little bit wide, but what I've been trying to do on trending coins is widen the invalidation and lower my size a little bit for two reasons. One, the market is so volatile at the moment in terms of it kind of all airs on whatever Trump's saying, or what he's doing, or what he's not doing, or who he's talking to, or who he's told to fuck off today. You know, what era of woke people he's told to go fuck themselves, whether it's trannies, whether it's gays, whatever it might be. Like, the market seems to be, yeah, you know, waiting for his next tariff war debate. So it's quite telling. So that's a really good question, Rolly Diaz. What are you looking at on this presser about crypto? I mean, I'm not trading it. I'm sat here talking to you guys, right? I've done a decent trade this week. I'm kind of not eager to jump back into the market. I know everyone's kind of like risk on. Actually, no, I think that's really unfair. I think a lot of people are kind of probably feeling the same as me. As you know, I've taken a couple of trades. I'm really happy with how they played out, but I'm not gonna balls to the wall go deep in altcoins. What I said in the group to people was, if you've had an altcoin that you've wanted to buy for a long time, I think I used BONK as the example. This is where you either just market some in, and you take the risk, and you know, you do something like this, and you go, right, I'm pretty sure this is the kind of capitulation bottom, and we go for it. Or you wait for high time frame reclaims. But on a lot of memes, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that for a long time, right? Like BONK in and of itself, you know, these are the points around these were like, these are the big capitulation wicks. And if you start looking at higher time frame, maybe it was daily. I was doing the stochastic RSI and like looking at the lows and just being like, look, you know, this is kind of when the lows happen, they are pretty good in terms of like indicating a local bottom. So if you do the lows on stock here, the lows on stock here, the lows on stock here, etc., low on stock here, like, you know, it's pretty good in terms of potential bounce. Yeah, okay, this one got fucked afterwards, but it still ran from here. Yeah, I'm not going to go back too far, but you kind of get the point, right? It's I've missed that one ever so slightly, but you kind of see that it's pretty good at timing a rough bottom. Hit that like. Cool. Thanks, Waldsney. Thanks everyone for liking the video. Thank you for people subscribing. This might actually be the stream where we get to 5k subscribers. That'll warrant a screenshot and a WhatsApp message to Mother Charlie. 4,940 something. So we need 60 more subs, and we're laughing. Yeah, genuinely, thank you all. So yeah, that was kind of my attitude, but I didn't go balls deep. I'm still a little bit not on the fence, right? I don't think that we're going to get the absolutely parabolic alt run that everyone kind of wants. Maybe if we get some more news like crypto's tax free and all this kind of stuff, and maybe Trump actually pulls his finger out of his ass and does something like that. Let me just delete some of these things. Bosh, 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 bosh. But yeah, there's a lot of potential opportunities like elsewhere, I think. Can't subscribe twice. Yeah, fair. Or at least there'll be more opportunities like in the not so distant future, right? Let's say that was the absolute Pico bottom. We'll be trading this range on BONK as an example. Let's just use it as an example because it's on the screen. You've got a nice ILO here in terms of this move. We've got a little bit of strength coming off it. Like I'm not taking this trade right now, but you're looking for a reclaim kind of above here. And you can just play the next leg of the market, right? If you've missed this one. Like, I don't see anything wrong with that. For me, Bitcoin is teetering at this kind of like previous high. Like these, like not clean, but that was support, deviation. Like I'm not gonna try and long this here. I had a good trade out of it. I could have held it. I chose not to. It was at a reasonable level, took profit, and I'm happy with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're at a bit of an extreme in terms of momentum on the stock, but this is what I actually pay attention to, which is your daily RSI, and we are sat in the middle at the moment, and this is kind of the fight or flight for bullishness. So above 50 on the RSI is bullish conditions, below is bearish essentially, and if we can reclaim like this 108 level and start pushing, yeah, maybe there's a trade there from mid-range to range high, but I really don't like diddling in the middle. I'm not very good at it. It's where I get chopped up. I get chopped up and lose trades in two places, middle of ranges and in vertical accumulation. So when something is going like that, I don't trade it very well. I trade breakouts very well, so I'm good at here, very good here, but I'm not good in this, unless it is something big like XRP news and stuff like that, right? Do you wait for a pullback after reclaim a level or not? It depends on the circumstances, mate. It depends on the setup. It depends on whether there's relative strength or not if I'm in an altcoin. So, I'm not going to wait for a pullback. If it's the strongest coin, like let's say I was like looking for an entry on JTO now, right? Or BERT or WIF, I would not be waiting because the chances are that these trains are leaving the station full steam and you're not going to get that retest, right? If I'm playing a high time frame setup on something relatively weak or slow like Ethereum, then yeah, I'm quite happy to wait for that, and then get in with bigger size on limits, save myself some fees, get a better entry, blah blah blah. And because it moves slower and it's not like super parabolic like this, if the market goes, you can probably chase it and you've missed 0.5% or something, but it's very, very different than trying to capture a rotation kind of as and when it happens, if that makes sense. What about Bitcoin on 5 minute? Yeah, so I'm not really trading Bitcoin like this low time frame at the moment. I mean, I would suggest that it's probably pricing in that Trump's going to say something super bullish, and if he doesn't, then it's just going to roll over like that. And like this previous consolidation here, so if I just delete everything and just start again, right? This previous consolidation here will likely act as kind of a resistance slash potential short opportunity. Your voice is so calm, you must have made money. I've been here for 8 years, mate. I've made a fair amount out of crypto. I've done well, it's very it's blessed me. That's not without its sacrifices. People think it's super easy and all that kind of stuff. It's the easiest place in the world to make money. One of the hardest places in the world to keep it. And there's a lot of stress that comes with something that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm obsessed with this market, and I probably always will be. I've been chatting to some friends that are like, "You retire now?" Then I'm like, no, why would I retire? And I think Kobe put it best when he said, you don't give up on a game you love just because you got a high score, right? And there are millions of people who have made a lot more than me. Like, don't get me wrong, but you know, I'm comfortable. Thoughts on Trump crypto czar? Well, I don't really know. I mean, I think this speech in a bit is going to be quite telling of all of that and what they actually plan to do. You know, I think the market will respond appropriately to it. I think this is probably pricing in something positive like we had before. We'll probably get a sell-off when nothing positive happens, and then they'll say something vaguely positive, and then they'll say something vaguely negative, and we'll just get all chopped up on a news event. Eric pumping his ETH bags. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the thing. You know, they're playing big games with like big money, but you've also got to remember that they did rug, you know, or they have rugged however much on Trump coin. Like, they've probably made, yeah, hundreds of millions off that, I would guess. Good news is equal to a dump lately. Yeah. I mean, just one thing is kind of undeniable, that the ETH strength, like, or not strength, sorry, absolute weakness, obviously, in the sell-off. But this recovery, you know, it's hard to be super bearish ETH here after a huge capitulation. Like, I want to be bearish ETH and shit on ETH and do all that, but, you know, the reality is that I kind of can't be. If that's not a capitulation work on ETH BTC, you know, I know we had it sort of back here, but that looks very, very much like a local capitulation on ETH BTC. So, you know, if I didn't have a bag of ETH already, because I've just had a bag of ETH for fucking years, right? You know, I would be looking at something like this, trying to get on board, but ETH has cucked me so many times before. And also, I like ETC more in general, but I got stopped out of this one, unfortunately. You know, and I tried to play the Breakout, which I think we talked through last stream. But yeah, I will take that L valiantly to the grave with me. Did you mean any BERT NFTs today? No, I didn't. Bollocks. Was that today, was it? No, I did not. I have absolutely failed. ETH range and Majestic, when it'll break out, I guess it will skyrocket. Yeah, I mean, I hope so. You know, it's very easy to kind of sit here and say, oh, this is an easy trade. It's definitely not. It's definitely not a free trade, quote unquote. You know, I still think we're subject to a lot of fuckery from the Trump administration and stuff. And like, even this is, you know, quite aggressive in terms of essentially longing into a high time frame pivot on nothing more than a bit of market structure, right? But if it closes there, then it's kind of fucked in and of itself, because you've got a lower high. But yeah, we will see. We will see. I genuinely think that you know, that sell-off on ETH was absolutely wild. One of my friends got like a ton of stink bids filled in at 2.2 and couldn't believe it. But yeah, I mean, I kind of can't believe some of these bounces, right? XRP was a wild bounce as well. Where is it? Yeah, XRP, you know, ripping 58, basically 60% from the lows. Absolutely mental, you know, ripped here. I think last stream we talked about it, didn't we? We talked about the divergences across the highs in terms of the 3-day, the awesome oscillator, and that's it playing out. But equally, I'm kind of in this position now where I'm like, wow, okay, like, probably should have taken some profit and dumped it all, but this is fully recovered and there's like a complete reset on RSI. Complete reset. Whilst it is above this kind of previous range, and if I was drawing that box a little bit more to fit my bias, it would be there, which is the candle closes, and this is above that. So it's actually pretty fucking strong. Decent bounce was also amazing. Yeah, honestly, I started the stream with that, mate. But if you look at like some of the bounces off the lows yesterday, you know, it was by far one of the best coins. And it was one of the first coins as well. You know, Desync, Sui, Ondo, Popcat. And this is why in these moments, right, when you get a strong sell-off, this is why spaghetti is absolutely key, in my opinion. obviously not financial advice. Do your own research, blah blah. But yeah, like I just cannot. And before you ask the templates there, I can't recommend it enough. And I'll answer a couple of questions now, whilst you're glaring at spaghetti and setting it up for yourselves. A 4K res is stronger than C-bomb. Lovely. FWOG is strong. Yeah, FWOG is strong, but I mean, when I bought FWOG, just to kind of put things in perspective, was it 50 cents? And I sold it for like 40 something, 42, 44. So I bought it up here as we broke out of one of these attempts. I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was like this one here. It was this range. I'm gonna get this wrong, right? So, but it's a losing trade, so I can fucking laugh as much as I like, right? I bought it up here somewhere, and I think it was 50. So I was playing the breakout here, and I ended up selling it for like 0.45 or something. So I was kind of hoping I'd get saved by this resistance. I never did. There was just literally zero support. So I was like, fuck me, man. Like, I got absolutely, like, people were shilling me FWOG for ages. I took a 10% loss on it within like a couple of hours, and I was like, fucking hell, what an idiot. I should have just listened to SC when he shielded it to me like down here. And then now, I'm looking at it going, fuck me, that could have been a lot worse. And that's kind of a real illustration of risk management and why it's so important. Spaghetti in 1 minute? No, you can have whatever you want, mate. You can just change it. When you load my spaghetti, you'll be able to take a copy of it up here in your own trading view. So take a copy up and to the right, create your own version. You can remove stuff, so there's like dead stuff on here. Like, I haven't cleaned this for a while, to be honest. There's some dead stuff on here. You go up to here and you just change it. You just remove stuff as and when, right? As and when you want to. One of the interesting callouts. Actually, I'll stick on FWOG. I'll stick on FWOG for a second, and then I'll explain why I'm still in a short position on two assets. So yeah, it's a really nice bounce from the lows, but like you would have had to endure an awful lot, right? And still, like, even if you got the absolute capitulation work, which is really unlikely, it's going to be a tough one, a real tough one to trade. So I'm going to answer the what's your advice to make it this cycle with a 4-figure portfolio in limited time. I think there's this huge. I think you need to scale back your expectations, to be honest with you. I think the part of like the super easy money is probably gone, and like as the curve goes up in terms of like risk reward. So as the curve goes up in terms of the market, right? Let's put it that way. So the market's going up. This is like 1 trillion, 2 trillion, 3 trillion, or whatever the fuck we're at now. And things start going more parabolic. It actually becomes harder because a lot of it becomes harder and easier. So let me explain how it becomes harder, and let me explain how it becomes easier. It becomes harder in the sense of you've got more people, more competition, you've got more rugs happening daily, you've got more attention dispersion across different things, right? And unless you're an insider on those things, a private sale investor or something like that, it's hard to have an actionable edge like on new launches and new projects, which is why charts and trading, all this stuff doesn't make a difference. So that's one of the reasons that I will like advocate being a perp trader, as well as doing the on-chain stuff as well, right? You don't have to be someone who does just one of them. It's obviously better if you can focus your time on just one thing in general, but I do everything. So I invest in things, I hold spot bags, I trade, I degen low cap shitcoin, 100k market cap pieces of shit. So I do it all, but I'm not like, how do I put it, trying to advocate do it all if you haven't got the time, but I'm just saying you can do everything. But if you've got a 4-figure portfolio, like, I don't know is the honest answer how I would try and like run that turbo now, because I think most of the big opportunities in terms of quote unquote easy money is gone. I think unless we get this massive euphoric move in terms of, there's that chart, isn't there, that I posted earlier, first bear trap, and then this is the journey to euphoria. Unless we get this real blow off top in the market, I think that you're going to just be better off trying to play slow and steady. And that might be playing around on chain, that might be trading perps, that might be buying spot bags, that might just be, high time frame swing setups on like 4-hour charts that look like this, buy here, stop here, that type of thing. low time frame rotations, yeah, you can probably run it up doing that if you're good. But if you're just starting off and you've got a full-time job, that's going to be really, really difficult. So, you know, I think there's too much of a big expectation on people that you've been here for a cycle, you should have turned 4 figures into 7. Like, that's 1 in a million people, right? That's the lottery ticket equivalent. Yeah. And as the cycle progresses, it gets harder and harder to do that. So, I would try and rein your ambitions back. And if you've got a decent sized portfolio, people like hedge funds would be happy with a 20% return in a year. Do you know what I mean? Like, but us degenerates are like, nah, we got to 10x that shit. So sorry, JF, it's really difficult. I'm a big believer of slow and steady, and that's my style. That's been my. It's probably not been my path. At times, I've had some huge windfalls, but I'm not a believer of go to the sole on-chain casino and gamble it all unless you've got an edge somewhere. And I think the way that I would always say to people is slow and steady. How do you feel comfortable placing top of range breakout long stop loss at the bottom of range? I try the long top of range often. I don't want to keep in risk at the bottom too. But you can do that if you're talking about the ETC setup. So I took that trade on the basis that ETH BTC was strong at the time. ETH was breaking out as well. It was kind of a proxy context trade. So it wasn't just ETC and the chart that I thought was going to break out. And I could have been much more aggressive with my stop down here. But equally, the point that I made earlier around with Trump kind of taking the reins, and every time he speaks, the market seems to do a bit of this. I wanted to give it some breathing room because I thought the theory was right that ETH would get its day in the sun, and the ETC Ethereum Classic would catch up. So, and would actually be higher beta and a better return. So it would be stronger. So that this would run. I mean, clearly I was wrong. And then when we kind of died off, I had a chance to almost get out break even, but I didn't take it. I held the trade and I took the loss. So that was why I did that in terms of gave it room to breathe, because a lot of my other stuff, and you might remember, I actually, let me see if I can find it. Un momento, por favor. Okay, so I'm just going through the original. Like, this was the original, right? So you didn't have all the other price action, and that was like my theory that the high time frame, you've got run up, pull back, accumulate, and hopefully run up again. So similar kind of play, right? Yeah, I'm just going through all the stuff. This is the one that I wanted to show you, and this will hopefully give you a sense of why I've been widening my stops a little bit. So I had a long position on ETH at 3392 and rode that up to 3720 or so. I got out of that position and I looked to short it, and it looked like I literally missed the ETH short from 3720, or sorry, from 3647 by a literal dollar or two. And just to put that in perspective of kind of where that was here. So that ETH short was literally this, and I'm pretty sure I targeted this low, or something like this, and it hit like within within a very short time span. So yeah, that's why I've been widening my stops a little bit to give the positions kind of room to breathe. Do you know what I mean? But you longed on res, right? Yeah, I played the breakout. So in theory, my trade was a breakout trade, but I also wanted to play the spot element of it. So I just wanted a bit of exposure to Ethereum. So yeah, it's not the best managed trade in terms of if you think you're playing a breakout trade, you should probably close it when the breakout fails, right? But in this instance, I didn't do that. Load up on some FWOG and BERT. Mate, I've got enough BERT. I've got loads of BERT. I haven't sold any. I'm round tripping that. But yeah, that was the thought process there. So I'm just kind of showing you guys some of the stuff that goes in the Paragon, like how we kind of take trades and how sometimes it doesn't work out quite the way you think. So yeah, Nico, you're right. On a normal basis, I'd play the rotation, and just close it and close a break even. But I wanted some more ETH beta. I'm not gonna buy FWOG. Like, I hope it runs for people, but I just think there's better memes, better opportunities out there. I think BERT's one of them, to be blunt. You know, this has been down only for so long. And yes, I'm trying to dump my bags on you at $1, no less. But yeah, I'm just not interested. Like, it is just ripping it down. Does PEPE pump at the end of the quarter? So PEPE is a really interesting one because I shared the fractal the other day around PEPE, and this was part of my rationale for a potential bottom being in, right? Which is when we've run up hard in a short time horizon, drop 63%. Run up hard, drop 66. Run up hard, drop 72. To me, that seems like we're getting, further each time in terms of dollar price, but also in percentage pullback, and that kind of makes sense in terms of the run up, the pullback, etc. And they're getting a little bit further, or a little bit, yeah. I'm not sure how you describe that, to be honest. Getting a little bit more extreme, so it kind of makes sense to me. And this is how I'm trying to illustrate to people that you need to be active, and this is what I was trying to say in the group as well, which is you need to be kind of like active and playing for whatever windows, and this is just a doodle, right? I'm not saying May is going to be incredible, but we're likely to have trended down and then have a bit of a slower phase, right, of accumulation, I'm guessing, on some of these alts. And then when we get the breakout, like, hopefully not as subdued volatility as this, but when we get the breakout again, it does one of these kind of runs, and the whole market is kind of risk on. And the market will be risk on for a period of a few weeks, and that's where you'll make the most of your money throughout the year, right? Because if I look at my trading P&L over time, and like, let's pretend that this is 1 year, mine will go like this, maybe like this, and then whoom, and then maybe like this, and then whoom. Like, it's usually like that. There'll be some extremes, right? There'll be a couple of good months, maybe a good month here, maybe there's a hype airdrop or something, and maybe there's 1 month where I take a big couple of losses and I just run it down turbo, whatever. But you get the point that it's usually a couple of risk on months that change everything, and that's exactly what this shows. And I just can't get a better reflection of how I think this market really operates in terms of perp trading, like meme coins and general risk on conditions than this, really. Conference has started. Yeah, I might have to drop off in a minute and go. Thoughts on D.O.G.E as a meme this cycle? Oh, I've not seen it. I mean, if your conviction is it's a good meme, etc., then go for it. It happens a lot that you enter a trade and then exit and then re-enter, etc. Yeah, it happens fuck ton, mate. I enter and exit trades all the time. Like, I will close break even a lot. I think I am one of the most choppy traders that I know in terms of how often I will enter and exit potentially even the same position. That's Doge, bro. Oh, Department of Government. Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought it was a new meme, as in like Doge.Gov. But I thought it's just D.O.G.E or D.O.G.E. I haven't even checked it, mate. It's probably in the bin, isn't it? Let's find it. I was also looking at Enron. So yeah, not looking great from here. I think we started talking about it down here, didn't we? At 30 mil market cap or something. So should still be up. I mean, it could turn into a decent meme. Still doing decent volume. I mean, this looks like a local bottom, to be honest. Looks kind of like this, doesn't it? But how much juice it's got, who knows? How about BONK? I mean, we kind of covered BONK earlier. Like this. I want to see some relative strength on low time frame, but BONK's just not really got it at the moment. Like, most memes are fucked. The one meme that I wanted to call out is Trump. So I wanted to call this out because I'm short on Trump. Because I'm obviously the greatest trader of all time. No. I am looking to close my shorts at some point. But I could see that I'm basically short like this. And yeah, it's going to go to, Trump's going to have to pay me to hold it. But like, legitimately, I don't see why it's going to be anything other than 0 in 3 months' time. Or 3 months after the day it launched. Because they're going to release 20% or something of the supply. But equally, if he comes out and says something like, if you hold Trump, you don't have to pay capital gains tax, or something absolutely fucking ludicrous, which I wouldn't put it past him, then it will turn into an absolutely ridiculous long. It would be nice to get some educational videos, not stream on trigger, execution plan, etc. I mean, I got loads of those in Paragon, mate. Loads. With Elon constantly speaking about it, CPOOL's holding up my port. Yeah, I mean, with Elon constantly speaking about DOGE, like, and I don't know, if something happens dramatically with DOGE in the news, then there's a chance that it bounces back. But yeah, it's still a high risk meme, right? And at the moment, memes are kind of off the boil unless they're the cabal flavor of the day. Yes, I mean, it's still in a downtrend, you know what I mean? Like, it's still literally, this is the problem that I've got at the moment with a lot of this stuff. So if you whack an EMA on it, it's going to be pointing down in most cases. Let's see if the old clouds work. I'll just fucking take that shit off then, shall I? All my old stuff isn't working. Lovely. Ah, the classic buy but never sell. The bag holder script. We love that. I'll just use this one then. Yeah, still pointing down, still like bearish, you know what I mean? Like, it's, yeah. Look at this. Good buying and selling everything. Let's go. If you have Trump, no capital gains, stablecoin approval pending. Yeah. Mate, in Paragon. Can't wait to see all those new indicators. Oh, you just claim those indicators, mate. Yeah, you can claim all the indicators that are in there. There's loads of them. You just go to your WOP and claim them. Will strike token surge? What the hell's strike token, mate? Got no idea. Absolutely no idea. But yeah, so let's go on to like next moves, next setups, that kind of thing. Because I think we've done a lot of like what has happened, what we think, what I've actually actioned, how I've actioned it. I've kind of told you about all those trades that I kind of gave yesterday in terms of my outlook and the thought process behind them. I think for me, what tends to happen is you get a highly volatile event, you get a nice bounce, and then shit cools off for a little while, right? and everyone gets chopped up trying to fucking overtrade this because they expect a big move like this, and everyone goes, right, I'm piling into risk. I'm going to take on, I want to short because I know that big sell-offs can happen, and I want to long because this should mean revert. And what you end up with is just this like slow bleeding, low time frame chop. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, it's actually been really nice. Like today has been quite nice in terms of some of the rotations. Strength led strength on things like Sui. A nice pump from Zig as well because they've gone live for their test net and all this kind of stuff. But it's not as easy as it was. It's not as liquid as it was, and stuff is generally at levels where there's not really much in terms of support or resistance to kind of draw around a trade. So I'm at a not loss. I'm just at a point where, do you know what? Like, for me, the levels that we're operating at on most meme coins are pretty shite. There's no divergences or anything to action in particular that I've seen anyway. The relative strength isn't on the coins that I want to long, things like BONK. So I'm just kind of sat here waiting with my dick in my hand, really. Hoping that we kind of get some reclaims across the board. If we start getting a reclaim on something like PEPE, breakout of like an accumulation range down here, or something like near, pull it back up, break out, sorry, of this downtrend, and start moving. I wanted to see something like this before, which was a breakout over here, but it just never happened. Then, we can start getting excited. I also wanted this on Sui. It never manifested. We never got that high. But yeah, things are downtrending, and until something changes, hopefully in this kind of form of a range / accumulation, then I'm not eager to risk it all and jump back in. Don't think the market liked the press conference. Yeah. So this is exactly what we spoke about. We were logging that news into resistance, and oh look, lo and behold, something came out or nothing came out, and we just rejected completely off it. So, quelle surprise. Western Charlie questions, which you nicely answered, but would like to mention it again for the live streamers. Speaking about I'm down like 40% down on a few meme bags, CPOOL fine, and how I didn't this time have invalidations and stop losses. It's your own fault. Yeah, that's fine, mate. But we all make that, right? We all make that choice. It's a perfectly 4-point USDC, decent sized port, pretty much half since my rebuys in January 15th pre-inauguration, in 3 weeks price action. Is that because you're holding memes, or the meme coins doesn't need to take profit early? I think, yeah, memes, it's about being able to rotate, especially in the current cycle. We'll just what we'll do is we'll delete all of these, apart from the one that was right. Yeah, look at that. Join my paid group. I'm joking. Yeah, so if you're buying memes, holding spot, like, yeah, Cat, Doge, all that kind of stuff, like, and I say it when I enter them, generally, and I say it on a lot of streams, like, for me, when I go in low caps, when I go into anything like this, I go in with my risk. So let's say, I usually trade $100,000 and I do 1% risk, so my risk is $1,000. I'll be buying $1,000 of this. That's it. And it might go to zero. I don't care. That's the trade. It might 10x. Great. I made $10,000. Lovely. I'm just using those numbers as kind of illustrations, but they are 100% risk. And it's not just because teams might rug and all that. It's also because that then helps me emotionally manage the trade and emotionally manage my exposure to the market, and it also makes me confident to the extent of I'm not just going to sell. Like, oh, it's gone up a tiny bit, great. No, I'm here for this. Do you know what I mean? I'm here for this kind of move. And equally, it's only 1% of my balance. It's only 1 hour essentially. I'm happy to risk it, and I'm happy to hold it for a while. I know that's really useless advice for you because you are where you are, but just for the benefit of other people. That's kind of my approach to low caps. When you are in that situation though, and you have overcommitted yourself, you have overexposed, and don't get me wrong, I've done it, right? I'm definitely not preaching from a gospel. I've gone too hard on some either coins or some breakouts or some pre-sale investments. You know, I went hard. I begged and begged and begged for a bigger ticket on one pre-sale that completely rugged me for every fucking penny. So, you know, I'm not saying that I'm immune to it at all. Completely, it happens. But, you know, you are only ever in a position where you can affect the here and now. So if you had $100,000 in your altcoin and you've now got $50,000, that's what you've got. You know, there's no amount of waiting or crying that's going to change that. Like, yeah, okay, waiting might change it in terms of it might go up, but it might also go down. You know, the question you have to ask yourself is, what trade do I want to be in now? Like, do I want to be selling my Doge now? I personally don't, but that's because I entered with, you know, reasonable risk, etc., etc. This looks more like a bottom than it does a top in terms of low compression, you know, ranging. It's not selling off like this. Do I want to be selling here, or do I want to be buying when we're at actually an extreme of RSI? You know, even like down here, like was the only other time that it was vaguely low. Yeah. Thoughts on Doge? The real Doge, we'll get to that in a bit. Waiting for some relief to go across the market. The problem becomes if that relief doesn't happen, because what you're doing is you're balancing back to your old bag. You're saying my old bag was 100 grand, it's down 50%, so I'm down to 50. But if I can 2x this, then I'll be back. I'll be back to where I was. And you're making this point of anchoring your old worth to what you want the market to give you, and the market doesn't work like that. That's kind of like a really harsh way of saying it. I am sorry. Like I know I'm being a bit of a cunt about it, but you know, it's kind of like that's gone, and the anchoring's really unhealthy. And I used to do it, right? So I used to do it all the time with my trading portfolio, because whenever you hit a certain figure, or let's just say you go from, you know, you deposit $1,000, you run up to $10,000. The hardest trades for me were always the $9,000 to $10,000 trades. Always. It was so difficult because I'd be like, gonna make it, gonna get that zero, and then, you know, my portfolio would just chop. I'd just be really fucking struggling. It would just be like this. You know, I'd take a few losses and I'd be chasing that imaginary number that means fuck all. It means fuck all. There might not be opportunities in the market, but I want to hit it. You know, and you're kind of, I feel like doing the same thing of, I had this, now I'm here, so now I have to get a 2x break even. No one will know. No one will know I lost money. You know what I mean? Anyway. But yeah, that's, you know, hopefully everyone else in the chat kind of found that helpful as well. Just, I know it's a little bit late, I know it's kind of past tense, but I've always preached about only enter with what you can afford to lose. And emotions are funny. They are funny things. You know, and I'm coming from a voice of experience because I've done all those things myself, right? I just do them a hell of a lot less now than I did 7 years ago when I started, or 8 years ago when I started. Yeah, 8 o'clock. So does anyone have any other questions or anything? Or should we just jump on to kind of next steps? For me, I just really want to see a massive shift in this. I want to see memes risk on. That's what I want to see, and I've said that for ages and ages and ages. I don't know when we get that, but I'm pretty confident that we get that soon, because, you know, if we don't, then it truly fucking is over. What's this? Look. You know, I'm still looking at memes. Memes are going to be the best beta at some point. Again, I believe. And, yeah, they are the most fun to trade. Someone wants to look at Doge. I'm not really a bad fan of Doge. I'm also fasting today, that's why I'm a bit tired. You know, for me, reclaim, could be tempted on Doge. Real simple. It's actually very clean in terms of these levels. And yeah, obviously you got like resistance up here, so TP1, and then hopefully you get a decent run and we run it to $1. Patience is also a form of action. That is very true. Doc's got a great saying, which is impatience is expensive, and it really is. You know, trying to chase. And one of my plans for 2025 is to trade less, and just try and focus on a couple of bigger trades. So you know, taking a decent Bitcoin rotation, taking a decent stab at OM. Hopefully that turns out okay. You know, maybe it's starting to stall a bit now in terms of relative strength, but we'll keep it there. You know, that's a good one. But 2 trades so far this week. I know we're only on Tuesday, but usually I've done about 50 on low time frame alt rotations. Do you know what I mean? Like trying to catch everything that's going on, and it's just too much. I'm getting too old, and I just don't need to do it like that anymore. How do you transition from demo to live successfully? To be honest with you, I never did the demo thing. I went straight into the deep end. So I don't really know how to advise on that, to be honest. Not that this is financial advice, obviously, but you know what I'm saying. It is managing your emotions, but there's definitely something a little bit more... How do I put it? Well, I suppose it's all emotional. There's something very different about doing it with real money than theory. The theory is there to build your confidence in a system, really, and to understand the mechanics of, you know, interacting with the market, like literally buying, selling, stops, etc. But yeah, I don't know how you transition. I suppose it's how anyone transitions from nothing to trading, right? You have to get used to and comfortable with the losses, and for me that was a long and painful journey. You have to journal your emotions as well as your system to understand you and how you work, and also how you don't work. So when I'm tired, I'm an awful trader. When I'm ill, I'm an awful trader, which shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, right? But those things make a huge difference. And I think when we kind of go into the realms of the live trading and we start making money, that's a very different thing to handle as well. You know, you have to be cognizant of where you are in the market. You've got to not take on 50 altcoin positions that as soon as Bitcoin does this, all of them just go bum 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 bum, because then you completely fuck yourself. You know, one thing that I do, not so much anymore, but I used to do it all the time, is I'd know roughly what my exposure was in terms of, if the market dips 10%, what am I going to lose? If the market dips 20%, what am I going to lose? You know, and that's not just my portfolio value as such. It's what are my stops? Where am I putting my stops? Am I comfortable with that risk? If you've got $1 million, right, in crypto, and you've got no stops, you can wake up to $500,000. Are you comfortable with a $500,000 loss? Question. You know, you have to keep accepting that risk and keep reviewing that risk. And I've always preached that, and I know it's really boring, but you know, that's my constant, like. And you know, the question that I actually ask myself a lot is, am I happy with this amount in crypto? Like, in my wallets, in my MetaMask and all this kind of stuff, and like on exchanges, when I get to a certain amount on Bybit, I just withdraw. I don't want more than X amount in it. Do I trust Bybit? Yeah, absolutely. You know, but do I want to take that risk? No. And I said the same about FTX. You know, when I saw SBF be interviewed by Eric Voorhees and go absolutely just like a complete sack of shit, I was like, why have I got, you know, a huge chunk of my net worth in this man's exchange? Cashed it all out on the Friday, and which is when that interview was, and on the Monday FTX was insolvent. So, you know, I'm just smiling to you because I have this feeling we will make it. No, that's good. Demo accounts can never replicate emotions. So true. Yeah, it's true. I think the problem is predefined stop losses and invalidations on trades. Yeah, but not spot bags, and you do have to change that. Yeah, you have to have a plan, full business plan essentially. So I've set some bags. Yeah, rebuys going down 40%. Own fault. Yeah, but you live and learn, mate. It's the price of education. You won't do it again. What I had to do when I sold one of my NFTs early, I sold an NFT. It was, I don't know, it was about like $2,000, $3,000, something like that. And then a week later, I saw it on OpenSea for like 250,000. I was like, ugh, you know, like fuck me. Like that was a bit of a fumble. I didn't even need the money. It's not like I didn't have like a decent amount of ETH to kind of trade with at the time. Do you know what I mean? I didn't need it. I was just like, oh, I don't really like it. I didn't even look at the traits. I didn't do any research, and it was like the third best trait in the whole fucking collection, and it was like brilliant. My laziness cost me 250k basically. So I stuck that as my desktop background for a little while. Reminded myself not to be a dumb cunt. Didn't make the same mistake again. It's unfortunate, but I was blessed with other things, so it's just we've all done it, right? We've all bought a bag at 100k market cap, sold it at 300k, and went, I'm a fucking Chad, 3x in a day. Woke up a week later and it's at like 50 million market cap, and you're like, holy shit. Yeah, desktop background, honestly, or print something off, or do something like that. But anyway, like next legs for me on the market, I'm really looking for memes to buy, but not without relative strength, right? Like not this downtrending shit PA, no relative strength. Shorting Trump to 0 is going to be fucking great. I can just feel it in my bones. Again, if Trump starts moving in a positive way on spaghetti, then that's when I'll probably close my short or take profit on it, because it's actually a substantial amount now. It's actually reasonable. It's OM nicely holding up with BTC. We like to see that. But we like to see that when it goes down, when the market goes down, that our altcoin that we're long is actually hugging onto at least Bitcoin, and it's not something like this, right? Filecoin's lovely to play on the upside because it's got high beta essentially. So when Bitcoin goes up a little bit, it goes up a lot, but on the downside, it also fucks you. So, something like OM, really fucking strong, really good sign in my opinion. So I'm quite comfy in that long. Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, I'd like to think we're kind of a decent bunch, me, Doc, and Magus. We've got different trading styles, but all had some banger trades over the last few years. Both bags and AI. I know both have DOGE, Desync. Yeah, so I got those. I think there'll be some new stuff coming out. I think Sage is my like low cap pick, which I've shielded a load of times. It's probably dead in the water at the moment. Yeah, I think someone dumped the like 1% supply in this. I've been shilling this since 2 million market cap, so I've been shilling this since down here pretty hard. So if anyone bought at 2 million market cap, now's a fine time to dump your bags, but it ran to 10x, I think it was. Yeah, hit 10 cents up here. Well, I haven't sold anything. I've got no reason to sell anything. This is one of my there's hardly any holders. It's doing like reasonable volume, even if it's sell volume at the moment. But they're working on some cool stuff. But it's super low cap, right? And it's very binary bet. Looks at Kip. No, not really. Looked at it. To be fair, size, low cap. It was, yeah. The problem with size, it's like a lot of coins now have gone back into the range. So I mean, I tweeted about this. Oh, it hasn't gone back, and I tweeted about it back here, and now it's literally come back and retested it. And I'll get like, oh, Charlie, why are you showing this shit? Like, and I disclosed I was a private sale investor in it a long time ago. I think I've only got like 10% of my tokens, 20 or 30% or some shit anyway. But it ran up. And this is the thing with markets, right? Runs up like 3x from there. Runs down 66%. You're still a cunt because it's gone down and it's back at like effectively that entry. Do you use the monthly close, etc., monthly day range? No, I don't do that. I don't use that at all. Have you ever seen altcoins crash like they did in a bull market? Yeah. Yeah. Like, let's just consider what you've just said. Like, is that the end? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know is the honest answer. But we actually had worse stuff than that. So if you consider like this here, like that, let's Try and find an altcoin and that's probably a bad example. I've picked one that doesn't go far enough. Perfect. Probably a bad example. But, you know, Bitcoin was running, XRP absolutely shut the bed. You know. $77 sell off. Then big run. Yeah. Alright, that was only 21. I was also thinking of what we got here. 43%. Big breakout. 54%. Even here. So this drop from this high. 53%, and then a run up and kind of this like dead cat rally, which was good to trade, but it wasn't obviously as good as the initial run up, right? Pretty crazy volatility right now, yeah. And this is why I'm not trying to go balls deep in a ton of spot bags, because it's just volatility to both sides, right? It's not necessarily like super easy. So yeah, seen it before. Doesn't mean that it can't go down. Absolutely not. Doesn't mean that it's the start of the bear market. Don't know. Bitcoin's still holding up the range pretty nicely. I'm going to use Bitcoin as my proxy for the entire market. And yes, if we lose 93k, I'll probably see you in 4 years. What do I think about BERT? I mean, I think BERT, like most memes, has performed massively terribly in the last few weeks, which is a real shame, because I own a fucking massive bag of it. But you know, if it's similar to like PEPE and stuff like that, if it can just reclaim, we get a bit of a risk on appetite and run. Like, you've got a really simple setup here, right? Really simple. You got this range low, you got the range here, you got deviation under here. We're slowly grinding back up, but hopefully reclaim and push and go, right? If not, it's probably just going to slow bleed down here somewhere, which fucking sucks. Oh, and one last thing, you know, I talked about this, and I've helpfully deleted the whatchamacallit, the long short tool, but you will hopefully all remember that I've been basically saying that this is the trade I'm long on, or trying to be long on, which is long BTC, and yeah, it's played out pretty fucking well in terms of Bitcoin Dom. So I don't know if that was just the illustration of Bitcoin dominance, you know, flying essentially. I would have rathered it's because Bitcoin is fucking running up like turbo and alts are kind of steadily doing this, but alas. Wouldn't want to be in Goblin Town with anyone else. Cheers, mate. So unless there's any other questions, ladies and gents, I'm going to wrap up. I think the next leg for me, I really want to long some meme coins. I still want to play the extremes of the Bitcoin range, right? Like, any of you should be able to draw simple levels on Bitcoin, right? So where am I interested? I'm interested in here again. I'm interested in here. I'm interested in here. You know, we did get that kind of short that we mapped out on there. There, if you wanted to play that. I've still got a little short running from 105 something or other, with my Trump short as well. So yeah, to be clear, this was spot buys. It wasn't perps. Otherwise, you'd have seen the P&L card flashed all over Twitter.com. But yeah, I also want people to start thinking like in a different mindset with when alt season. Like, you know, I get it, Scar. Like, that's when easy money's made. But the way I try and explain it to people is nobody appreciates easy season unless you play hard season. So if you play the game on hard mode and you can survive and you can take good trades and you can understand your thought process and you can understand your emotions and you can build a system and you can get ahead of yourself and you can you not necessarily thrive, but you can survive in hard conditions and you're putting the time and effort in then when it comes to the easier conditions, or when stuff's just popping left, right, and center, and you want to take that fourth trade that takes you over your risk limits, you'll have the discipline, you'll have the system, you'll have the confidence to go, no, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, okay, it was a good trade, but I'm exposed enough, you know, and then you manage your risk. And equally, on the other side of it, if you've got no exposure, you'll go, fuck, this is starting to pop. But you know that it's stupidly risk-on conditions and that whatever's just happened is a super bullish catalyst. You have the confidence to execute. So it's in the tough times that I think the best traders are made. You know, very few people have turned up to their first bull market and just made it as a trader anyway. They've probably lucked into some dog shit on pump fund and made it, but certainly not, I don't know, anyone who's just made it their first cycle trading and just, you know, jumped into a bull market and made life-changing gains. So you kind of build during the bear and then you just destroy during the bull. And I'm not saying the bull market's over either, right? But I am saying that it's getting exponentially harder. So yeah. And if you want to learn, I'm obviously going to show Paragon. Sunny days wouldn't be special if it wasn't for rain. Joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain. Yeah. Yeah, true. Yes, thank you all very much for being here. If you are watching this and you are not subscribed, please do. It means a lot. I might be able to get to 5k off this stream, which would be absolutely wonderful. And yeah, I think if we play extremes, if we play strong rotations, and you know we keep ourselves reasonably well risk managed, then we will thrive. And on to the next trade, my friends. I will see you at the same time next week. Have a wonderful few days and a weekend. And yeah, crypto is still the best financial opportunity in the world, in my opinion, right? I could be completely wrong, but you know, I think it's absolutely incredible in terms of the opportunity that it offers. So yeah, I don't think there's an easier place to make money, but I could be wrong. Okay. See you all next stream later. Yeah, go check out XO. Right, I'll love you and leave you all. Au revoir.